Instead, how the heck are you today? Hope you're having a great day. Okay, I'm going to try to get this one out. It's going to be fairly short. First off, give you a little terminology adjustment. There's a difference between a militia and a MAG. A MAG, Mutual Assistance Group. They are a group of neighbors, friends, whatever, who have gotten together and came up with a defensive plan or a bug out location or whatever, in case things go really crazy in the world, that they have someplace to go and, protect their families. That's MAG. Some of it may be a neighborhood thing. You will hear them referred to a lot as militias. A lot of times you run across these groups of, 25, even 30 guys, and they refer to themselves as, a militia. Now, some are, case in point. In any military out there, you have infantry, you have armored divisions, you have all these different groups, okay, that put them together, they're the military. Separately, they're different handles, different names. Can a group of guys be part of a larger militia? Yes, they can. And that is very confusing for your government sometimes. Okay? They sometimes have problems about that. Militias are put together to defend this country against an invading foreign government. Okay? They are the second line of defense, you might. If somebody rolls into the United States and decides they're going to attack and tear it up, you may very well have militias kind of doing a retreat thing or whatever they can to bring it to a close. If the government should ever turn tyrannical, the militia would have to take on the role of, okay, it's time to remove these guys out of office and restore the Constitution and restore the country. So they have to be prepared to face a regular military. You're not going to go in and take on large military with a, rifle and a sidearm. So you do have to have heavy equipment. Now, that is done through private ownership, and it's scattered all over the country. I ran into one fellow down here who is the machinist. He, not the same machinist, that sounds like a factory worker. He customizes and builds pieces of equipment. If you need a gear assembly on a shaft that, was for 1930s antique you're restoring, this guy can make you one. I was much amazed when I went into his. You look like you're walking into an underground garage kind of ground. It's actually built into a hill, but it was built into this large hill. I don't know, what is this, your bunker? Well, I guess it could be. He said it's deep enough underground, he would be pretty much bomb-proof without like a bunker, bunker buster or something like that used on it. But yeah, so, it's fairly safe. And so, he's got his shop set up in the front of it and all that kind of stuff. And we're kicking around and showing him the piece that I was needing to get fabricated. And I looked through this window on his door, this roll-up door he had there. And I looked at him, is that a tank? He said, no. He got it real quick. I said, oh, it looks like a tank. He said, it's two of them. Oh, okay. Tanks. But he owns two tanks. And he says him and a group of friends, a MAG kind of thing, were tankers in the military, and they kind of pulled together, and here you go. They got a couple of tanks. And I told him, so they're intimidating as heck, but they gotta have bullets for them, like that too. And we got that. He says, in the back there, he said, there's a secured room. He said, where we stored ammunition. And so learned a little bit about that sort of thing from him. So yeah, people do own stuff like tanks, contrary to what Joe Biden told you the other night on television. Out west, I got to see a A-10, a Warthog aircraft, take into a tank. Really, it was just a hole. They'd pretty much scrapped it out for everything it needed. No Sherman. And this thing just literally ripped that thing apart in one pass. It was a fascinating thing to watch. But here again, there's an A-10 Warthog, fully armed and capable, in private ownership. there's F-18s, there's attack helicopters, there's, like Huey's set up with weapons platforms, all sorts of aircraft and artillery. I was sitting on this trip, didn't see much of that. There was a lot of it out there before. They brought it out on the 4th of July celebration and really hammered away at it was pretty impressive. So, yeah, these are militias that have formed into like an overgrown mag group, actually a formidable group that have a communication systems set up. Pretty impressive. The government stands on it. They're not wild about it because they know it could be that under the right circumstances these guys would, be coming after them. But on the secondary thing, if it became a situation of where the country needed defending, then that would be very beneficial to have these guys around. Okay, because they'd be independent of the main military and pretty much do crazy things. Okay, so they're out there. So somebody tell Joe Biden next time you bump into him, as he's sniffing your hair, inform him that, by the way, you can't own a tank, Joe. Relax. That guy is creepy. I'm sorry. But anyway, can't help it, man. So, sniffing kids' hair, something a little weird about that. But, yeah, so there's militias out there. You might have this group here or in this state, and this group here in this state, and another group here in this state, and another, But yet, if it ever hit the fan, they can pull themselves together fairly fast into a functioning combat units. So, and they do some inner training. That was kind of some of the stuff I was seeing out there on this trip, where they were pulling several states together. So it's kind of neat, and it's kind of gives you a little, at least we're going to have somebody who's able to protect us should, space aliens invade, or communists. So all these things are, pretty cool. But yeah, that was, and if you want to see this kind of equipment, let me give you some places to go look. And you can get some great coffee too. Black Rifle Coffee Company. You will see, if you look through, their videos are funnier than snot, but you will also see some of the equipment that they keep. And you also, in going through some of their videos, you're going to run into other companies, veteran-owned companies that also have equipment. And very specialized guys. Most of them all special operators. It's out there. You just got to piece it all together. And you'll sooner or later begin to connect the dots of, like, they're all associated. And that's because of their associations through these large mag, I'd say. So, they're there. They can be a driving force in this country for good. And they keep a very low profile. Matter of fact, like I said, you'll see a lot of the stuff. You go out to, the Black Rifle Coffee Company. Great coffee, by the way. You need to get involved in their stuff. It's good stuff, man. Full Mag, there's another one. He's attached with Black Rifle. He does all kinds of crazy stuff. Demolition Ranch. All these guys are, interconnected. And you'll see a lot of the equipment that they're running around with and playing with and stuff of this nature. It's extremely entertaining if you're into firearms and weaponry. And a lot of their videos are pretty cute. Okay. So, boom, there you go. It's out there to see. Okay. I was telling you about the fellow that owns a bunch of F-18s and so forth. There's another fellow that just bought a bunch of Australian F-18s for private private company. And he's a contractor. He actually works with the military, helping to train our pilots in the military. He's kind of the opposition force. So they do a lot of good. They work with the government a lot of times, things of this nature. So it's not all bad. Okay, the government's more than aware of it. That's what bugged me about listening to Joe. It's like, you should know these things. If you've been in government for 40 some odd years and in the executive office for 8 years, you should know these things. It kind of goes, how bright is this fella if he doesn't know these things, or was he lying? I'm not sure which. I would hate to think he didn't know, being in government and all that this many years, and you haven't picked up on that. What were you doing during all that, besides lining your pockets? That's about as far as I want to go with the militia stuff, and keep it friendly with you two. But know that they're out there. They're nothing to be afraid of. I know the Southern Law Center, Southern Poverty Law Center, I think they're called. They think they're all a bunch of racist supremacists who are out to. The problem of it is, they're all different races. So that doesn't make any sense. But good guys, and got level heads on their shoulders, and they're not going to be. They've all been there, done that. They've ate that dirt. Okay, they got coffee cups and T-shirts to back it up. They are not quick to go, let's go do this. Okay, there's going to come a time maybe that they need to. They want to be ready for that time. But as far as let's jump in and try to, because we want to, no, we're not. It's got to be a pretty large consensus of these guys to say, yeah, it's time. So I wouldn't lose any sleep over them going nuts on this. Okay, and they're very successful now. Very successful. Case in point, if you look at the group from, Black Rifle, these fellows, these are young vets who pulled this group of veterans together and just started doing crazy work together, and formed up a coffee company, which, like I said, they got great coffee. And they make a lot of YouTube videos, and also they're into all sorts of stuff. These guys get together with a fifth of whiskey, and the next thing you know, they're off on another adventure. But it's the thinking behind them. Very successful. Which you look at these guys and you have to go, okay, these fellas they're the epitome of America. They are what America is all about. They did their time, they did their duty. They came home, they scratched their heads for a while. I think like Matt Best worked as a contractor. Matt Best worked as a contractor for a while. Basically because that's what he knew. Go over and, take out bad guys. But, they turned their attention to other things, and just killing it, just doing a great job. Very successful. That's the opportunities that this country brings, kids, if you're little Antifas running around. That's the kind of things that you can do. If you become a part of the way this country works, you can have a great life. You can have a great life. Or you can sit around pointing your fingers at everything that's went wrong, and you want somebody else to take care of you. All I can tell you is, and if you think about it for 30 seconds, the government doesn't have money. They print money, which devalues it. They can do that. But even after a while, it becomes so, and Zimbabwe is a good showing of this, and Venezuela, where if your money becomes worthless, you can have a tractor trailer full of stuff and it won't buy you a loaf of bread. So you got to be careful with how much money you print. They sell nothing. They have no income other than what they take out of somebody who's out of other Americans' pockets. Okay? So for every free thing you kids are asking for, understand somebody's going to pay for it. And guess what? Sooner or later, it's your turn. And you're going to be standing there going, I don't want to pay for somebody's college. I don't want to pay. I didn't want to pay for mine. Why do I want to pay for theirs? Because you put the program in place and now you have no choice. You will pay for that college. Okay? There's only two things in life that you really have to do, and that's die and pay taxes. Something to think about. You got to go visit some of these sites, take a look at them, and you'll start seeing, yeah, man, they got all kinds of equipment out there. Pretty impressive. And the people that know how to use it. Be advised, it's out there. And luckily it's in the hands of people who are not going to be quick to use it. All right? But check those out. Like I said, Black Eye, I'll put links to some of their sites. There's others out there. There's thousands of them. That'll give you some idea. And you understand when you start looking at these weapons, it's like, where do these things come from? Where they're at. They're in private ownership. So keep that in mind. Hopefully I can get this through YouTube okay. Yeah. Just understand there's a lot of firepower out there. So Grand Minister Jay and your little marching army, don't even start your nonsense. Although I doubt that these guys would have to handle it. But probably just turn the police loose on you at the end of it. So, but don't fear them. They're not out to overthrow the government. If the government walks away from that Constitution, they're just there to remind them they need to come back to the Constitution. And it's getting pretty iffy right now. This election is very important. A lot of the talk we're hearing is, what's going on with this? We have never used both mail-in voting before in this country. Why are we using it now? Democrats are playing a very dangerous game right now, and they don't realize how dangerous it is. And that was a lot of the conversations of how bad could this be. Right? This vote mailing is not a good idea. And if their little war plan is what they're trying to push through, that could trigger a problem. So, Democrats and Republicans, if you're a healthy adult, get your tush to the floor. Don't play this game. Because number one, I think there's going to be a Supreme Court battle over these vote mail, and you're probably looking at those things getting thrown out, which will be getting to be terrible to lose your vote. I don't care who you're voting for. It'd be terrible to lose your vote. You're a U.S. citizen. You're an American. Whether I agree with you or you agree with me, we have our right to our vote. Okay. So let's stick with it. God bless you folks. Take care, and we'll talk to you later.